in the Quran Kareem that mention Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thereafter states, إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا, that indeed he was a Siddiq, a Nabi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions two qualities regarding Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Number one, Siddiq, and number two, Nabi. Now, what is a Siddiq? Siddiq is that individual who is extremely truthful, who never utters a lie at all. And this is in reality a quality of every single Nabi. Every Nabi is a Siddiq. And from the non-Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam, also we have Siddiq. The greatest Siddiq being none other than Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, as-Siddiq al-Akbar. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And the Siddiq is one who never utters a lie, one who never says anything which is contrary to the truth. Now this is a difficult task. This is not an easy task. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically mentioned this particular quality regarding Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. That Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam was a Siddiq. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam was one who was extremely truthful. And this is something which an individual should try to emulate and bring into his life. As mentioned that Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he was also known as Siddiq al-Akbar, the greatest Siddiq ever to walk on the face of this earth after the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam. And the ulama state that the status of a Siddiq is extremely, extremely high. And between a Siddiq and between a Nabi, there is very little difference. Besides the fact that he has got nubuwwah, in terms of other qualities, there is very little difference between a Nabi and a Siddiq. The level of Siddiqiyat and the level of nubuwwah, the lowest level of nubuwwah and the highest level of Siddiqiyah, they are literally just a little bit different between the two. Hardly any difference between the two. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was an individual who was extremely truthful. And never did he speak a word of a lie. And another quality of Siddiq is that not only do they say a lie, but when they see the truth, they accept the truth. They don't deny the truth. They accept the truth. Their tabi'at and their nature and their fitrah is inclined towards the truth. And therefore they are always ready to accept the truth. And they are always speaking the truth, never speaking anything which is contrary to the truth. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, we find in him, in his life, these two qualities. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was in Makkah Mukarramah still, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam went for the Mi'raj, and he returned back from the Mi'raj, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam informed the people of the Mi'raj that this is what has happened last night. I went to Baytul Maqdis, and thereafter I went to see Jannah and Jahannam, and I returned back last night, and all this happened immediately, all last night. So the people started doubting that, what is he saying? How is this possible? Going to Baytul Maqdis, returning back, and is this possible? The kuffar, the mushrikeen, they thought this is an opportunity where even those that are firm in Islam will start to doubt the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, then Abu Jahl immediately took this and he says, today I'm going to make sure that even the steadfast from the ummah and from the believers and the Muslims, even they will start to waver in their faith and their iman. So he immediately rushed towards Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And he went to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and he asked him and he questioned him and he posed this question and put this scenario in front of him, that what would you say regarding an individual who states that in one night he went from here to Baytul Maqdis and then he returns back to Baytul Maqdis, and all of this in one night. It wasn't like our time when you could catch the train, or you could catch you jump into a car, or catch a plane and return back immediately on your private jet or something like this. This wasn't possible. It wasn't feasible. It was at least a month's journey there and back. So he posed that. What would you say regarding this person? He says that in one night he went to Baytul Maqdis and he returned back to Makkah Mukarramah. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu didn't say that, I can't believe him, or this person. He asked him, who says this first? You tell me that. Who is it that who is the person who's saying this? So he says, none other than your companion. None other than your companion Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He is saying this. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu says, if he says this, what's there to doubt? Obviously I believe him. I believe him. I can't doubt it. Because I believe even far greater than that he receives a wahi from the heavens which comes to him down and informs him of everything. So from going here to Baytul Maqdis is nothing compared to that. When I believed him in things which are far more beyond our comprehension, then this is nothing. Of course I believe him. At that moment, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave this laqab and this title to Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he is Siddiq. When the truth comes, then he doesn't flinch, he doesn't question, he doesn't doubt, he doesn't think, but what if, why, how, maybe. No. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said this, khalas, finished, the end, nothing, no questioning. Immediately accept. Siddiq, this is Siddiq. Immediately he accepts it. And so this is accepting of the truth. Accepting of the truth. And speaking the truth. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu was traveling with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And whilst traveling with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam for the migration, at that moment, their life was in danger. Their life was in danger. The mushrikeen had said that whosoever, because that night they surrounded the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And they said that today that's it, we're going to finish this matter now. No more. Let us assassinate Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam makes the hijrah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam with Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu leaves Makkah Mukarramah. The mushrikeen have said that whosoever finds him, then they will get a reward of 100 camels. 100 camels wasn't something insignificant. 100 camels was a great reward. You could say, this person will get 100 cars. And not just any cars, very, top end cars. Camels are the top end of conveyances. So 100 camels. So everybody went out searching for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Suraqa ibn Malik also went, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who accepted Islam later on. He also went and he even actually found Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said that, Ya Rasulullah, he's behind us. He's going to catch us up. He says, don't worry about it. And immediately Suraqa's horse got taken into the ground. And he got stuck. So he says, help, let me go. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua, he came up. Then he came forward again to come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Immediately took the earth took him down again. He got stuck. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam again, upon his insistence, made dua for him. He came up. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came, he said, Surah, come here. What are you going to do? And then he said that this, and he said, you can't. Just go back and we'll let you go. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Suraqa, how would that time be when you will see the treasures of Kisra and the bangles of Kisra and the jewelry in your own hands? When Islam will spread far and wide, then you will see the bangles of Kisra in your hands. Now imagine this, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quietly leaving Makkah Mukarramah, crying and looking towards Makkah Mukarramah just a few moments ago that Makkah, I don't want to leave you, but unfortunately your people didn't let me reside in you, and I have had to leave you alone with only Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, with nothing else, doesn't know what awaits him in Medina Munawwara. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam leaves, and then he's saying, when Suraka comes to capture him, he says, Suraka, what about the time when the message of Islam will spread far and wide, and it will even reach the palaces of Kisra and Persia, and his treasures will be in your hands? So he's like, what? He was like, how is this possible? And then it happened in the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Suraka later accepted Islam at the time of Fateh Makkah as well. And later, when in the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when the treasures of Kisra came, so Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu heard this said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam later on. So he called Suraka and he says, Suraka, come here, come here. And then he put the bangles in the hands of Suraka, the treasures of Kisra, the jewels of Kisra. And he put him in his hands and he says, go round Medina Munawwara now and show the manifestation of the prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You people were doubting it. Look, within a short amount of time, in just 14 years since the migration, this is what happened. So nevertheless, on this journey whilst Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was traveling, then some other individual also crossed paths with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. He did not recognize Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nor did he know who Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu was. And he wasn't from Makkah Mukarramah, but still, obviously, if he was to say that I am Abu Bakr, this is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the word could reach the people of Makkah Mukarramah, and they would say that, yes, this person could say, yes, I've seen him going down this route, etc. So he comes to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and says, who are you and where are you going? So he says, oh, what is Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu? He says, he doesn't lie, even at this time, critical time. But he says that this is my guide. هذا هو هادي يرشدني. This is my guide, and he's just directing me, and he's just taking me somewhere. And in that, his indication was, this is my guide towards Allah and the hereafter, taking me towards Jannah. But that person thought that he's traveling somewhere and he's guiding me somewhere. This is sidq. This is true, that even at times like this, they don't utter a lie. They don't say a lie. They try to use the words in such a way that the other person, they save themselves. The other person may take a wrong meaning, that's deficiency on their side. But they do not speak a lie. They do not say something which is contrary to against the hukm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although at times when a person needs to save their iman or something, then a person is allowed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, and the Sahabi Kiram, one Sahabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, the enemy was beating me, torturing me, and I was fearing for my life, and he said, renounce your faith. So I said that, okay, I don't believe in Allah. Just so that he would stop killing, stop torturing me, stop beating me, and he would spare me my life. So, Ya Rasulullah, I have said this, I now fear for my iman. What has gone wrong? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, you don't need to worry about anything. Don't worry. Why? Because وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. Your heart was content with iman, so such a statement does not take you out of the fold of Islam. Although it was against the reality, but still. But Siddiq, even at times like these, they did not say anything wrong. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he was Siddiq. He was truthful. And if you look into his life, then we see these things. But he was, even this, 3 times a situation arose for Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, where he spoke in this manner, where the person in front who he was addressing was understanding something else, whereas his intention was something else. But it was the truth what he was saying. But despite this, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam would feel that I have done wrong. And that is why when the people on the day of Qiyamah will want the hisab to be done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the hisab to start, the judgment to start, when the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be very severe, and the people will say that, look at this day, it's the horrors of the day, let us get on with this day. Even if it means we have to go to the fire of Jahannam, it can be at least easier than this. Well, Allah start the hisab. They will go to Adam alayhi salam, they will go to Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, and thereafter they will finally go to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he would then intercede, and Shafa'atul Kubra, the great intercession on behalf of the entire humanity and the entire creation. But when the people would go to Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasallam, at that time, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasallam said, look, I can't do this on this day. I can't intercede on the people. Even I'm scared today that what if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala questions me in regards to those lies which I said. Whereas they weren't even lies. Those statements which I said, which people understood differently. And what were those statements? One was when he was still a young boy, and he understood that his father is not going to understand that these idols are of no benefit, these idols do no harm, these idols should not be worshipped. You've made them from your own hands, why worship them? But he's not listening, neither is my people listening. So what does he do? He goes, famous story, and breaks all the idols, besides the biggest one. And then he puts the axe around the neck of the biggest one, and then he waits. Let's see what happens now. The people come back, they summon him, and they ask him that, did you do this? Did you do this? أَأَنْتَ فَعَلْتَ هَذَا بِآلِهَتِنَا يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ? Did you do this? So what did Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam say? He says, بَلْ فَعَلَهُ كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا فَاسْأَلُوهُمْ إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْتِقُونَ. Now, if you look at this sentence, then you can look at this sentence in two ways. One way is the way the people understood it, that بَلْ فَعَلَهُ كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا. Rather, the big one did it. He's the big one. فَاسْأَلُوهُ, ask him. He did it. إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْتِقُونَ. If he's able to speak, ask him. He's got the axe. People dead, and a person has a gun in the hand, and people walk in. Who did it? Obviously they're going to ask him. You've got the gun in your hand, everybody's dead, so it's going to be you. So you've come in, you believe that all these are alive, and they all can, benefit, harm, respond, make do everything. They run the universe according to you. So he's got the axe, all the others are dead. Ask him. He's done it. بَلْ فَعَلَهُ كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا فَاسْأَلُوهُمْ إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْتِقُونَ. So that's one way of looking at it. But the way Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam meant it was, بَلْ فَعَلَهُ, whoever done it, just leave that question aside. He's got the axe, ask him. So he's in reality separating. If you read it, if you listen to it as once, so he says from the Arabic sentence, it's فَعَلَهُ كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا. So that means the big one did it. فَاسْأَلُوهُمْ إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْتِقُونَ. So ask him if he can speak. If they're able to speak, you ask him. And the other way of saying it is بَلْ فَعَلَ. Rather, who did it. كَبِيرُهُمْ هَذَا فَاسْأَلُوهُمْ إِنْ كَانُوا يَنْتِقُونَ. This is the big one, ask him. So he said it according to that way. They understood it according to that way. But Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said, what if Allah is to ask me regarding this? What if Allah is to question me regarding this? How will I answer to Allah? How will I answer to Allah? Another time is when they were going out just before this incident actually, that when they were going for the celebrations and the ceremonies, etc. So his father came to him and he says, Ibrahim, are you going to join us? Are you going to join us? Come on, join us. So فَنَظَرَ نَظْرَةً فِي النُّجُومِ فَقَالَ إِنِّي سَقِيمٌ. So he looked up towards the stars and he said that, I'm not feeling well. So he said, I'm not feeling well. So again, this means, according to what his father understood, that he's not well, therefore he needs to rest, keep him at home, no problem, you don't need to come with us. But what he could say was saqim. There's one word which is marid, and there's another word which is saqim. Marid also means ill, saqim also means ill. But the ulama have differentiated between the two. There's other interpretations given as well, but one very simple one. So, marid means ill, saqim also means ill. But marid means somebody who's physically ill. And saqim means somebody who is not feeling too good mentally or spiritually. That person can be classified as saqim. So when he said that inni saqim, the father in the story is not feeling well, meaning is not so good. And he meant that no, seeing your situation is getting too much now, I can't take it, all this idol worshipping, etc. I can't take it anymore, I'm not feeling well. I can't deal with all of that coming with you, with all these ceremonies. No chance. So that's another one. Again, but the fear was, what if I said something wrong? What if Allah questioned me regarding this as well? And the third time, which is mentioned in the riwayah, was when Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, says that he was traveling. He left his city and he went across towards Iraq, and he passed by, and the king there was a very zalim king, very oppressive king. So what the king would do, that when he would see that there's a husband and a wife, then he himself would take the wife. He himself would take the wife as his own slave and kill the husband. So when Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was traveling with his wife Sarah, they passed by. The king got caught of them, and he summoned them to his court, and he says, who is this to you? Who is this to you? So he says, Hada ukhti. This is my sister. He said, this is my sister. Because he knew the situation, so he said, Hada ukhti, this is my sister. But his intention was that sister, in terms of we are both on the same religion, so in terms of religion, we're all brothers. We're all brothers. The entire ummah is like brothers and sisters. So he was indicating that she is my sister in the sense that she is on the same deen as me. But he understood it that she is my biological sister. So he let him go. Or rather he didn't, but he let Ibrahim ﷺ go. But because Sarah was a very attractive individual. So long story short, nevertheless, but he let him go. So this was the third time when Sayyidina Ibrahim ﷺ, he wriggled himself out of a tough situation by just not speaking a lie, but just speaking in a way that the person can get misunderstands. But this was, all three situations was why? Not for his own personal gain and motive, but rather mainly for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or for his own security, not to deceive the other person, to cheat from the other person or something like this. It was either for the propagation of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that people understand, or where his own life was in danger, that's why. Not to cheat another individual. So despite this, again, he says, what if Allah is to question me regarding this? And whereas this isn't even a lie. So what will be the situation of people who are constantly lying? And in a time and age when we're living in now, where everything is a lie. You have even fake news, and news need to be verified, and reality check, and this and that. And some lying is something which has been considered as wrong throughout the ages. Sayyidina Abu Sufyan, I'll finish on this point. Sayyidina Abu Sufyan ibn al-Harb radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, when he was summoned in the court of Hiraqal before accepting Islam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent him a letter, and he questioned him regarding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that what is this, who is this person, and what about this, what about this, what about this, what about this, what about this? And he says, I could have very easily lied to him. I could have very easily said that, yeah, he's like this, he's a cheater, he's a fraud, he does this, he does that. But he says that لولا الحياء أن يأثروني بالكذب لكذبت عنه. He says, if it wasn't for the fact that people would attribute lying to me, I would have lied. But then I would have had to live with this stain of lying, with this stigma of being a liar, and I didn't want that. So let us understand the importance that we need to remain truthful. Let us not lie in any situation whatsoever. Unfortunately, there are many different forms that people lie in. People lie for this, lie for that, lie at work, lie, pull sickies and, extra money, whatever, whether it's that, whether it's anything else, telling tales, lying to cause mischief between people. This is something which should be avoided. This is something which should be really avoided, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam states that when an individual lies, then such a stench is emitted from the mouth of that individual that the angels of mercy move away from that individual up to a distance of 1 mile because of the stench which comes out from that individual's mouth. 1 mile. And when the angels of mercy are not there, then what if a person is to be facing a difficult situation at that time? How will he save himself without the help of the angels which safeguard an individual? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us all from all types of evil, and especially Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to safeguard our tongues. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sallallahu ta'ala khairu khalq Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Inshallah, brothers are requested to engage in the tilawat of the Quran, inshallah. And then inshallah, the Durush Sharif shall be recited. Was a request to start completing that tilawat. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى، سلام على المرسلين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وانزل المقعد المقرب عند اللهم رب هذه الدعوه القائمه والصلاه النافعه صل على محمد وارض عني لا تسخر بعده ابدا. اللهم صل على محمد عبده ورسوله وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد وارحم محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت وباركت ورحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ال ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وازواجه وذريته كما صليت على ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وازواجه وذريته كما باركت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ازواجه وذريته كما صليت على ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ازواجه وذريته كما باركت على ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الامي وازواجه اللهم صل على محمد النبي وازواجه امهات المؤمنين وذريته واهل بيته كما صليت على ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وترحم على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما ترحمت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ترحم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما ترحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم تحنن على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما تحننت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم سلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما سلمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت وباركت وترحمت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد عبده ورسولك كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد عبده ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد صلاة تكون لك رضا وجزاء ولحق أداء وأعطه الوسيلة والفضيلة والمقام المحمود الذي وعدت واجزي أن ما هو أهله واجزي أفضل ما جازيت النبي عن قومه ورسول الأمة. وصل على جميع إخوانه من النبيين والصالحين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل علينا محمد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى أهل بيته كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك علينا محمد صلوات الله وصلوات المؤمنين على محمد النبي الأمي. اللهم اجعل صلواتك ورحمتك وبركاتك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما جعلت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وصلى الله على النبي الأمي. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات لله الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات والبركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله بالله. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أسأل الله الجنة أعوذ بالله من النار. التحيات لله الزاكيات لله الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بسم الله بالله. خير الأسماء التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أرسل بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. اللهم اغفر لي واهدني. التحيات الطيبات والصلوات والملك لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله. التحيات لله الصلوات لله الزاكيات لله. السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. شهدت أن لا إله إلا الله. شهدت أن محمدا رسول الله. والتحيات الطيبات الصلوات الزاكيات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الطيبات الصلوات الزاكيات لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. التحيات لله الصلوات الطيبات. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. بسم الله والسلام على رسول الله. يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.